So hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with a very special The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now this was not the video I had planned for today, and I am in complete and utter shock about what this video is actually about because I just can't believe it actually happened. So as you can see, we're starting off with a clip here where I shot a level 5 fallow buck, and this was actually going to be the plan for today's video, is I was going to have a big compilation of a lot of fallow deer trophies that I have shot recently on the fallow deer grind, as I still had a lot of clips left over from the first grind and now some from the second grind, so I thought I'd put them all into like a big montage. And as you will see, we just were recording to actually shoot that big level 5 fallow buck. And I was just on my way round to go and collect him. And at this point, I'm not thinking anything really different is happening. I was excited to go and see how big that buck was because I knew he had the big rack for a diamond fallow. So I was really excited about that. And I managed to make a bit of a longer shot, so I was really happy about that. And you can see I'm just spotting to see what other deer are here. Lots of really nice big bucks. And we're walking around and I scan over to my other zone and immediately I spot the great one. And I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. You can see here I just pause because at that time I was screaming, oh my god, there's a great one. And I just couldn't believe it. Like, there is the diamond that we just shot. And there is the great one in the zone next to it. I absolutely could not believe this. This is absolutely insane. I couldn't process what I'm looking at, and he's a completely different combo to the first fallow deer great one that we shot literally only a couple of days ago. I just can't believe it. So obviously we're going to pick up this diamond and see just how big he is, because, you know, that is a very nice big fallow buck. And you can see, this is where we are at the Twin Lakes, and I had just been nuking as many fallow as possible, and then I saw this level 5 run off, so I restarted my game so that he'd be back in his zone and I could actually get him, shot him, and then the great one had spawned from all of the bucks I had killed literally before I, closed and opened my game again. But this buck, this fallow, ends up being a max weight 265.36 chocolate. And this just reminded me of like when Flinter's whitetail great one spawned, and he had a max weight diamond literally not far from where his great one was, and it was almost kind of similar. And I messaged him straight away, I was like, there's another great one here, and I literally just shot a diamond just before, and I saw it as I was on my way to claim the diamond. I can't process this. It's absolutely insane. And obviously we're going to get close to this incredible buck. I mean, he's absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, a completely different combo from my first fallow great one. This is the spoon rack with the fabled mocha fur type, or mocha. It is just absolutely gorgeous. Now, I've got to be honest, when we first saw this particular fur type revealed, it wasn't my favourite, but seeing it in game, absolutely a whole different story. It is absolutely stunning. That buck is so beautiful, and the antlers match so well, being that darker colour. This guy is just stunning. What a beast of an animal. He's amazing. Now, I know a lot of people actually don't like the spoon rack. I actually do, because it reminds me of some fallow that I have seen taken in real life. Sometimes you will get fallow that have these more smooth antlers where they don't actually have the points going all the way around. And that is exactly what this reminds me of, is just like one of those racks. So I actually really wanted to get this rack at some point, and I couldn't be happier with seeing this guy show up. I'm in such disbelief. Like, it's literally only been a couple of days since I put out the last Great One video, and that one took about 4,336 kills. This one took about 720, and I wasn't grinding super hard. I was grinding a bit more casually, mainly focusing on taking out 3s and 4s and obviously any level 5s that spawned. Really wasn't even bothering too much with level 2s, just being a lot more casual with the grind. That's why I only have like 720 kills into this grind. If I was doing it more heavily, there would have been a lot more, but I've been on Emerald Coast, and like I said, I've just been taking it easy. So seeing this guy show up last night, like I said, I was hoping for another great one because I wanted to make the huddle fallow with 3 great ones. So I was really hoping to get a second one to show up. But I just didn't expect it. You know, my first one took so long in comparison to a lot of people's grinds. And then this guy shows up so incredibly fast. Like, I just can't even. But look at the fur. It is so pretty. Like I said, actually seeing it in person, in game, it's really, really stunning. The little spots, like in the darker, almost black and brown fur, is really stunning. And this guy was incredibly flighty. A lot more flighty than my first great one, Fallow, which I don't know why, but I knew that this rack is a bigger scoring rack, so I figured maybe slightly higher scoring, maybe he's going to be more flighty. But I did exactly the same with this guy as I did with my first Great One Fallow, and followed him to a feed zone, which actually ended up being a feed zone that I already knew about on the map, that I'd picked up at some point whilst, you know, chasing a fallow that I'd ended up wounding or something. Really not far away from the drink zone at all. But this particular feed zone was in a kind of difficult location, as you'll see. Very, very brushy. And unfortunately, my first attempt at actually getting really close to him in his feed zone, it wasn't the best because, like I said, it was just so brushy. But we did get really quite close to him. Like I said, he was just really flighty as well, and I really don't know why he seemed to be more flighty than my first one. Maybe it was just circumstance, but I was just like, well, of course he's a fabled, of course he's going to be flighty, and that's part of the challenge of getting close to him, and that's something I love. But just, he's so incredible, like, even seeing him through the brush like this, I actually really like that, because it's more like actually what you would see almost in real life. If you were looking for fallow, you would probably see them, you know, in the trees or in the brush and stuff, or at least that's been my experience when I've been out, you know, looking for fallow deer literally where I live. You quite often see them, you know, hidden up in the trees or in tree lines, and of course they were at that point feeding amongst those trees and bushes, so it gave me those real life vibes. Now, I did actually attempt to get close to him in his feed zone a second time. This time he was more out in the open, and it was good because it meant that we could actually, you know, film him while he was feeding a little bit easier, but there was also, like, no cover for me to get into, really, and also the very tall grass meant that I couldn't really go prone and get really, really close like I did with my first Great One Fallow, just because we wouldn't be able to see because of the tall grass. But still got to see him in his feed zone, which I think is just so awesome, getting to see them doing their thing. I absolutely love doing this. And you can see we have the pigs there as well. It was just a really great scene. And you can see we have a lookout tower right there. They are that close to it. Just how cool. Like, what a scene. Absolutely amazing. Now, at this point, you can see they start travelling. He has no idea I'm here at this point. Then you can see he starts to go attentive and alert. And that's because, obviously, he now knows I'm here. And this is something I've talked about in a previous video. The animals, when you are behind them, like directly behind them, like we were with this guy when he was just feeding, do not seem to notice you as quickly as an animal that is facing you. And that is something I've noticed a lot, especially while trying to get close to animals. So if you do really want to get close to something, I do recommend trying to approach it from behind and then, you know, then maneuver to get into a better position. Because I have been able to get really close to animals by maneuvering around like that. And that's how I got so close to my moose great one, my last moose great one. Same with the fallow, the last fallow great one. That's how I do it. From behind, they're a lot less alert, it seems, than if they are actually looking at you directly. And I don't know if that's like an intended mechanic. I would assume it is, because it kind of makes sense. If they're not looking at you, then they're not going to see you as quickly. But it's definitely something I've noticed, and I've seen other people noticing it as well, so it's definitely something interesting. But this is my favourite piece of footage that I managed to get of this incredible buck. Look at this scene. How gorgeous is this? Him led there in his rest zone in the early morning sunlight. And it was raining a little bit, so it had that sort of extra atmospheric touch to it. It was amazing. Just so incredibly beautiful. And with his fur, he is like a moody sunrise, you know, like it's cloudy and golden, and that's just what it reminded me of. And so getting to see him in this lighting in particular was really cool to me. Like, I really, really loved this. And I was so excited about the pictures I was taking, because there's something I love to do, is try and take, you know, good pictures of these guys, because, you know, it's a memory. I've always said this. Great ones are an experience for me, not just a trophy. And this, getting to see this, I mean, look at this scene. Like I said, that's a great one. That's a great one moment, not just a great one animal. That looks to me just the coolest. I was so excited about that. Now you can see the doe here. She actually was the one who gave us away this time, because she actually spotted me. The buck had no idea I was here. This great one, he just had no idea. Which is how I actually managed to stand up and then start trying to maneuver around. Now you can see he's going attentive to almost alert, and then going to alert. And that's why I then drop back down. You can notice the actual change in behaviour. If you spend enough time watching these animals, you'll know even without spotting them when they're attentive, when they're alert. And I knew straight away that he was going, you know, attentive and then alert. And I was trying to get some pictures here, and if that tree hadn't been in the way, it would have been really nice. But you can see he was kind of walking into this tree, unfortunately. But I got those pictures of him led down in the sunlight, and they were absolutely stunning. And you can see now he's gone calm again, and he's just trotting off. Again, use the wind to your advantage, use your positioning to your advantage, and you can get very close to animals. Now, once again, I decided to set it back to the early morning rest zone and try and approach this guy. Now, you can see there, he is actually alert. I got quite close and actually alerted him. So I'm being really cautious here, trying not to spook him, but still trying to get maybe 1 or 2 more pictures. But I was just trying to get him to turn around, but he just didn't want to turn here. And then he does go to turn, and I was really worried he was actually going to spook. So I drop back down and I pull out the 270 Stradivarius, which is a gun I've wanted to take a great one with for a little while. It's a beautiful gun. I wish we'd get more guns that look like this in game, with these incredible engravings and carvings. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. And I decided it's a beautiful gun to use on a beautiful great one. And you can see he goes attentive, he goes alert. And I line it up for a chest shot, and he drops on the spot. Heart shot from the 270, puts down this amazing great one fallow buck. He is just gorgeous. I mean, look at the scene again. Getting to take a great one, not just, you know, like I said, again, just from a drink zone in the middle of the day, but actually getting to follow him about and get to take him in this kind of scene, in the beautiful early morning sun. To me, this is just, like I said, a great one moment, and I just couldn't be more pleased. The rack, like I said, I think it's actually incredible. The way that these tines here are like palmated, I think it just looks amazing. But picking him up, because I didn't want to spend too much time looking at him on the ground in case the game crashed, and we have a 280.75 fabled mocha or mocha, I know I say it different, great one fallow. Oh my gosh, what an incredible animal. I know I said this about the first one, but I'm gonna say it about every great one, because I love them so much. These guys mean so much to me, and I do not take it for granted when one shows up, because I know that there's always a chance that they never show up. And to get one that, you know, it showed up so quickly after literally a couple of days, I couldn't, like, fully process it. I still don't think I've really fully processed it, because I just didn't expect that. I was expecting, you know, another maybe 4,000 or 5,000 kill grind, and then maybe I might get lucky, not, you know, only a few hundred kills. Like I said, this guy showed up in about 720 kills since my last great one, and I'm so incredibly grateful and lucky, you know, and I don't take this for granted in any way, shape or form. You know, like I said, I'm always like, well, one might never show up when I start grinding. You always hope that one is going to show up and that's why you're grinding. But I'm always like, I don't know, I always have it in my head that, okay, one might never show up. These things are intentionally really, really rare. So when one does show up, I'm incredibly, incredibly grateful that it has, and this is no different. This is no different at all, and I'm just in complete shock, and I just absolutely love this deer. I think he's so, so beautiful. Like I said, the fur, like when we first saw it, like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but seeing it in game, it is absolutely stunning. That golden colour with the sort of black dark brown colour fur, it just looks so good. And it, like I said, going with that particular rack, because that rack is very, very dark in colour, it matches perfectly. It's such a beautiful combo. What an amazing buck. He is just stunning. And I'm super, super, super lucky that it's a completely different combo to my first great one. I mean, it's a completely different set of antlers, a completely different fur. That's just incredible, and he's going to look amazing in the multi-mount. So now I need to grind for a third Great One Fallow, which was always the plan, but I didn't expect to be, getting this close to actually completing that huddle mount so quickly. I thought maybe a few months down the line I might have a second one, and then we might look at trying to get a third one. Not literally a few days after the first one. And to get a max weight diamond just before, I mean, it's nuts. I can't understand how this ended up happening. Now, same as with my first Great One Fallow, this guy is very slightly uneven. He has a little bit of character to him, as you'll see as we go through the true score, which was really interesting to me. And like I said, I love when Great Ones and stuff, they have a bit of character. I love it with diamonds as well, if they're not perfectly even, because in real life, you're very rarely, if ever, gonna see a buck with, or a stag or whatever, with perfectly 100% even antlers. There's always going to be little variations, little bits of character. And so I love it when that's, in game. You can have two antlers that look very, very similar, and that's, you'll see that a lot in real life, but they're never going to be 100% the exact same. So I love them having a bit of extra character like this. I think it's really, really cool. And I'm super, super happy. I just can't believe it. And I said these things with the first one, and I will say it with every single one that I am ever fortunate enough to get. That like I said, I just don't believe it. So now we got to go and put him in the trophy lodge. Now he will go here eventually with the first great one that I got, once we get a third, if we can get a third, to complete that huddle mount. But for now we'll put him in here so that he can be on display by himself, because he deserves that. He is just amazing. What an incredible buck. So, so beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And like I said, I can't wait to be able to put this guy with my first one. So yeah, I'm definitely going to grind for a third one now and, see what happens. I've already, once I shot this guy and recorded all this footage, because this was 3 a.m. when this all happened, so I recorded all the footage and everything, and then I was like, well, I can't record because everybody else in the house is asleep, so I guess I'll go and shoot some more fallow. And I've already shot a couple of diamonds, and yeah, I'm really, really excited to see, how long the third one's going to take. And actually looking at this guy in the trophy lodge, you can see the difference between his antlers. The one kind of flares out at the very tips a bit more, which is just really interesting. Like I said, not massive differences, but just character, which I think is really cool. It's always weird when you get two antlers that are just completely different. I don't mind it, personally. I think that can be quite cool. Like with my first Great One Moose, he's completely wonky, which makes him, extra special, because you don't see a lot of really completely wonky looking Great Ones. But, something like this, where they just have the extra character but look really similar, I think it ends up looking really, really good. So I'm so pleased with this. What an incredible buck. He's so beautiful. And I just want to keep staring at him in the lodge, because, yeah, I don't fully believe that I actually have two Great One Fallow in my lodge right now. And we'll finish up with a couple of the pictures that I ended up taking, because these are some of my favourite pictures I've ever taken. And, though I said that with the first Great One, some of those pictures were some of my favourites I've ever taken as well, but these are up there with those, in my opinion. I really love these. And like I said, the environment, the atmosphere, combined with this specific combo and the fur and everything, I think it matched just so incredibly well, and I'm so pleased. But that is going to be it for this video. Really didn't expect to be making this video today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for all your support. You guys have been amazing, and it's really humbling to see all the support from all of you, so thank you so much. But that is going to be it for this one, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.